Novak Djokovic won't give up on trying to win a 25th major title after another semifinal loss. There was a moment, albeit a brief one, during his loss in the US Open semifinals Friday that Novak Djokovic appeared to be making a match of it against Carlos Alcaraz. It was early in the second set, not quite an hour into the proceedings at Arthur Ashe Stadium, and Djokovic produced the sort of level that has carried him to 24 Grand Slam titles, more weeks at #1 in the rankings than anyone, and all manner of other prizes. He cracked a return of a 132 miles per hour serve, won the point and earned his first break chance. Then he cashed that in by coming out on top in a 9-stroke exchange, just the second service game Alcaraz lost over these 2 weeks. Suddenly, Djokovic was up 2-0 in that set. He threw an uppercut and held the pose. Spectators jumped out of their seats, screaming and clapping and singing his nickname, Nola, Nola. In that moment, the 38-year-old Djokovic didn't look his age, didn't necessarily seem destined to come up short. A few minutes later, he led 3-0. But it wouldn't last. Alcaraz regained control and finished off his 6-4, 7-6, 4, 6-2 victory over a weary Djokovic in less than 2.5 hours. It was the 4th major semifinal for Djokovic this season, and 4th time his tournament ended at that stage. I'm not giving up on Grand Slams. I'm going to continue fighting and trying to get to the finals and fight for another trophy. At least, said Djokovic, who would love to become the first player in tennis history with 25 major singles trophies. But, it's going to be a very difficult task. 3 of those 2025 semifinal departures came against #1 Jannik Sinner, who is 24, or #2 Alcaraz, who is 22. One exit came when Djokovic quit after one set against Alexander Zverev at the Australian Open in January because of an injured hamstring. Unfortunately, I ran out of gas after the second set, Djokovic said about what happened Friday. I had enough energy to battle him and to keep up with his rhythm for 2 sets. After that I was gassed out, and he kept going. He said it's just too much to ask to try to keep up with the much younger man at the very top of the game right now in best-of-5 set matches late in the second week at a major. Djokovic described that as frustrating, but also something not surprising. It comes with time and with age, he said. I still enjoy the thrill of competition. Today I received amazing support again on the court from the crowd. Very thankful for that. I thoroughly enjoyed myself. That's one of the biggest reasons why I keep on going. The love that I've been getting around the world has been amazing the last couple of years. ____. The stadium lights buzzed overhead as Novak Djokovic walked slowly down the tunnel, his racket bag slung over his shoulder, the crowd's cheers still echoing like a ghost in his ears. Another semifinal. Another loss. The media would call it the end. Again. Just like they had after the 2023 Wimbledon final. After the 2024 US Open. After every stumble, every slight crack in the armor. He sat down in the locker room, unwrapping the tape from his wrists with the methodical detachment of someone tying up a story they didn't want to end. A journalist had asked him in the post-match press conference, with barely concealed skepticism, Novak, are you still chasing 25? Isn't 24 enough? He had smiled. Not fake. Not smug. Just honest. Tired, maybe. But honest. I'm not chasing a number, he said. I'm chasing my limit. In the quiet weeks after the tournament, Novak returned to the solitude of training. The clay of Belgrade, the hard courts of Monte Carlo, the stillness of mornings where breath met cold air and the sound of a bouncing ball echoed like a metronome through empty stadiums. He could have stopped. He had earned it. More than anyone. 24 Grand Slam titles. A record that once seemed mythical, now etched in the granite of history with his name beside it. The GOAT debates had faded into silence. Even Federer had quietly told him over dinner once, whatever they say, Novak, you've done it. But it wasn't about the title anymore, or the validation, or the applause. It was about something deeper, a voice that still whispered when the world went quiet. You're not done. There was a boy who used to hit against a wall in Serbia, when warplanes flew overhead and electricity flickered like candlelight. That boy didn't dream of 24. He dreamed of one. One chance. One title. One breakthrough. That boy hadn't vanished. He had just grown up. Now, at 38, Novak could still feel him when he stepped on court. That same fire. That same belief that every point mattered. Every breath. Every inch. He wasn't chasing youth. He was chasing truth. Was there still a perfect match left in him? The 2026 French Open loomed like a question mark. Roland Garros, the land of Nadal, of clay battles drawn out over 5 sets and 5 hours. Djokovic had conquered it before, twice, but not recently, not in years. His draw was brutal. Younger legs, sharper serves, fresher lungs. In the first round, he dropped a set. In the second, he nearly rolled an ankle. In the fourth round, the crowd turned on him, again, as they often did, chanting for the underdog, reveling in the idea that maybe, finally, this was the end. He simply adjusted his strings, looked up, and played on. Quarterfinal, semifinal, and then the final. Across the net stood Carlos Alcaraz, 10 years younger, world number 1, already a multiple slam winner. The face of the next generation, a beast of athleticism, power, creativity. The media called it the torch-passing match. But Novak knew better. Torches aren't passed. They are taken. Earned. The final was brutal. 5 sets. Heat over 30 degrees Celsius. Rallies that stretched to 30 shots. Alcaraz danced on the baseline like a matador, painting lines with forehands that defied physics. Novak absorbed, redirected, sculpted points from defense like a veteran chess master. The 5th set began with Alcaraz breaking serve. The crowd erupted. Commentators said it was over. But something changed. Novak's eyes narrowed. He stepped up. Every shot became crisper, cleaner. His breathing slowed. The noise faded. Down 2-4. He broke back. Then held. Then broke again. And finally, after 5 hours and 12 minutes, Novak Djokovic stood at the line, serving for the championship. 4-love. 3 championship points. He bounced the ball. Once. Twice. 12 times. He looked up into the sky, not for help, but in thanks. He served. Ace. Wide. He fell to his knees. Not in triumph. In peace. The crowd stood, cheering not just for the title, but for the journey. For a man who didn't give up. Not when it was convenient. Not when it was rational. Not even when the world told him he was done. 25. Not just a number. A monument. A symbol of will, of belief, of evolution. In the press room that evening, he was asked, "So, is this finally the end?" He laughed softly, wiped a towel across his face. "I don't know," he said. "Maybe. Maybe not. But I know one thing. I played today like it was my first Grand Slam final. Not my last." He paused, looked out at the journalists, at the cameras, the pen scratching on paper. "You see, the fire," he said, tapping his chest, "was never about breaking records. It was about becoming someone I could respect every time I stepped on that court. And as long as I can feel that, I'll keep coming back." Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like and share. Till next time.